Hello friends! What do you get when you blend the poetic charm of a Libra with the loyal spirit of the dog? A person so naturally balanced, reliable, and emotionally intelligent, they often feel like the human embodiment of a warm autumn afternoon. But don't be fooled, beneath that elegance is a heart driven by quiet fire, fierce loyalty, and a search for justice, love, and something a little deeper than surface-level harmony. This is the Libra born in the year of the dog. A rare fusion of air and earth, intellect and instinct, idealism and realism. Let's dive into what really makes these individuals tick. From love to business to their darker instincts, we're pulling back the curtain on this fascinating hybrid soul. Love, romance is their religion. For a Libra dog, love isn't just part of life, it's the emotional spine of their existence. This is someone who walks through the world half dreaming of connection, of being known deeply and loved without condition. But don't confuse that with naivety. They are romantic, yes, but they are also discerning. They don't chase butterflies, they wait for a connection that moves both their mind and their heart. This person sees love as something sacred, a lifelong dialogue between souls, not a temporary arrangement for convenience or company. Love, to them, should feel like a promise, consistent, meaningful, and ever-growing. They believe in soulmates with a seriousness that borders on the spiritual. They don't just want chemistry, they want harmony, shared values, a mental connection that feels telepathic and a physical connection that feels safe, passionate, and emotionally grounded. You'll find them attaching great meaning to small gestures, a glance held a second too long, the first time someone remembers their coffee order, the songs you send them that say what you're too shy to. Love, for them, lives in the details. Every little sign, every micro-expression is quietly read and analyzed as part of a much larger emotional picture. The Libra side makes them innately flirtatious, charming, and attractive to others. But here's the twist, while they enjoy attention, they don't need it. It's the dog that keeps their feet on the ground, reminding them that real love requires loyalty, not just allure. So while a Libra dog can sparkle in any room, they aren't interested in serial flings. They're watching, carefully, for consistency, for depth, for truth. They want the kind of love that doesn't just shine in public but holds up in the quiet, unglamorous moments. They want someone to come home to, emotionally and physically. They don't rush into love. If anything, they're the type who might pause mid-heartbeat and ask, is this safe? Is this real? They're slow to open fully because they're already envisioning the long haul. The dog's instinct makes them cautious, even when their Libra heart is fluttering. Every flirtation is internally weighed. Is this sustainable? Can I build trust here? Is this someone who'll understand my silences as well as my laughter? Their hesitancy is not a sign of coldness, it's the truest sign of how much they want to get it right. But when they fall, oh, they fall, and not with half effort. A Libra dog in love becomes deeply attentive, cooking for you just because, learning your favorite books, remembering the way your voice sounds when you're nervous. They will offer parts of themselves they don't show to the world, their insecurities, their childhood wounds, their secret dreams. They will commit not just with their time, but with their soul. They are the kind who stays through rough seasons, who believes in rebuilding after arguments, and who listens instead of lashing out. Their version of love is not performative, it's practiced. Daily, gently, steadily. That said, they have non-negotiables. Honesty, for example, is not optional. They are not impressed by clever lies or charming excuses. And once trust is broken, something deep inside them breaks too. They might stay, because the dog is loyal, but they'll never look at you the same. You'll see it in the distance behind their eyes, in the pause before they answer, in the subtle way they stop depending on you emotionally. They may forgive with words, but their actions will always tell the deeper story. They never forget when the contract of honesty has been torn. In essence, to love a Libra dog is to sign up for something beautifully serious. They don't play with hearts. They don't gamble with emotions. They love like it matters, because to them, it always does. Marriage, a partnership built on purpose. A Libra dog does not enter marriage for appearances, convenience, or societal pressure. They enter it with intentionality, depth, and a vision of shared growth. For them, marriage is not just a personal milestone, it's a sacred partnership. They crave a connection that goes beyond romantic gestures and into the realm of emotional safety, daily partnership, and the building of a shared life. They want to look across the dinner table 10 years from now and still see their best friend, their equal, their co-pilot. Drama, manipulation, and superficiality have no place in their idea of marriage. What they seek is harmony, not the kind that avoids conflict, but the kind that transforms it into deeper understanding. Their idea of romance is rooted in reality. While they love candlelit dinners and spontaneous affection, the real magic for them is found in emotional availability, trust, and consistent effort. This is not a couple that posts constant curated love notes on social media. They're the kind who shows up at 6 a.m. with your favorite coffee after a sleepless night. Their marriage thrives in quiet moments, folding laundry together while talking about their dreams, taking long walks where silence says more than words, and building little rituals that become sacred traditions. The Libra dog believes that true romance lives in the everyday, in kindness, consideration, and the kind of loyalty that doesn't waver when things get hard. The dog's fierce loyalty fuses beautifully with Libra's desire for partnership. Together, these traits create someone who is committed not just to the idea of marriage, but to the work of it. They are the kind of partner who plans ahead, shows up, and holds space for both joy and discomfort. They're emotionally present and deeply protective, not controlling but invested. They notice when something's off. They remember anniversaries and the little things that matter. Their love doesn't shout, it shows up, again and again, through every season. They create a home that reflects their inner values, balanced, peaceful, beautiful, and safe. Marriage, for them, is about building together. This is not a one-leader, one-follower arrangement. The Libra dog thrives when they feel they are walking beside someone, not behind, not ahead. They believe in shared responsibilities, shared decisions, and shared emotional investment. They are not impressed by flashy dominance or rigid traditions. In fact, they often question them. They want a partner who's emotionally intelligent, communicative, and mentally flexible. Someone who sees marriage as a mutual unfolding, not a fixed role to play. In their mind, equality is not just idealistic, it's practical. It's how real partnership works. If the marriage starts to tilt into imbalance, though, if they're constantly soothing, initiating, explaining, or sacrificing, they begin to pull away. Quietly, gently, but steadily. They won't always speak up immediately because confrontation doesn't come naturally, but their withdrawal will speak volumes. They may begin to retreat into themselves, invest more in external relationships or work, or emotionally detach in ways that are hard to reverse. To them, a one-sided partnership doesn't just feel lonely, it feels like betrayal wrapped in routine. The dog in them will hold on for a while out of loyalty, but even that has limits. They need to feel that their efforts are reciprocated, that their emotional labor isn't taken for granted. More than anything, a Libra dog wants their marriage to be a haven, not a battlefield. They are not afraid of conflict, but they deeply prefer resolution. They want a partner who knows how to fight fair, who doesn't weaponize silence or affection, who understands that being right is less important than being together. They seek a love that grows with them, that bends but doesn't break. A marriage where mistakes are acknowledged, apologies are sincere, and change is possible. They don't expect perfection, but they do expect presence. When they find that kind of union, they become the kind of spouse that others quietly admire. The one who builds their partner up, who holds the family together with empathy and grace, who turns a house into a sanctuary. They don't just survive marriage, they elevate it. Not because it's easy, but because they believe it's worth every ounce of effort. For a Libra dog, marriage isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of the most meaningful chapter. Sex, connection over chaos. For the Libra dog, sex is never just physical, it's profoundly emotional, spiritual, and even philosophical. They're not the type to pursue fleeting gratification or one-night thrills. For them, physical intimacy must be tied to a deeper connection. When emotional closeness is missing, sex feels mechanical, empty, and even unsettling. That's not just personal preference, it's a core value. They view sex as sacred communication, a form of mutual truth-telling through touch and trust. When they give themselves to someone in this way, it's not just their body, it's their whole soul, carefully and intentionally offered. To them, real intimacy must be rooted in safety, honesty, and vulnerability. This blend of Libra's Venusian elegance and the dog's unwavering emotional loyalty produces a lover who is tender, intentional, and incredibly present. Their sensuality isn't loud or performative, it's quiet, focused, and deeply aware. They read their partner's body like a story, observing every shift in breath, every pause in rhythm, every sigh or stillness. They thrive in a sexual dynamic that allows them to be attuned, to listen and respond with empathy and care. Intimacy, for them, is not a goal but a living experience, one that evolves, deepens, and reshapes itself as the relationship grows. The more connected they feel emotionally, the more confident and adventurous they become physically. Romantic by nature, they prefer a slow burn style of intimacy. They like to be mentally seduced before anything physical happens, with soft words, meaningful glances, and emotional warmth. Their ideal sexual encounter doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts with thoughtful gestures, stimulating conversations, and an atmosphere of emotional ease. They are turned on by being known, by feeling chosen for who they are at their core. In the moment, they're highly tactile. They love skin-on-skin closeness, lingering kisses, gentle touches, and eye contact that lingers like a secret. Their tempo is unhurried, deliberate, poetic. They want sex to feel like a shared language that no one else speaks but the two of you. They may not be wild in the conventional sense, but their passion runs dangerously deep. It's not flashy, but it's volcanic beneath the surface, and once trust is established, their full sensuality emerges. That's when they stop holding back. That's when the whispers become moans and the subtlety gives way to raw honesty. Still, even then, their instinct is not dominance or conquest. It's mutual giving. They want to please their partner as much as they want to be pleased. They're intuitive in bed, often knowing what their lover needs before it's spoken. It's not just about climax, it's about connection. They want both people to walk away feeling emotionally full, physically satisfied, and spiritually aligned. The Libra dog's sexual fulfillment is deeply tied to emotional validation. If they feel unseen, unheard, or emotionally distant from their partner, their desire shuts down. They'll still show up, they may even go through the motions, but something essential will be missing. Their sexual expression is an extension of their inner world, so emotional neglect hits them hard. They want to feel chosen every time, not just out of routine but out of real, living desire. They want to know that their presence, their touch, their heart, their entire being, still matters. When that assurance is there, they become extraordinary lovers, passionate, generous, and deeply satisfying. Above all, they crave sincerity in sexual expression. They are repelled by anything that feels forced, fake, or transactional. They don't need flashy tricks or constant novelty to stay interested. What they need is emotional truth. They want intimacy that reflects the reality of the relationship, with all its complexity, devotion, and growth. They see sex not as a separate act but as a mirror of the emotional bond, and when that bond is strong, sex becomes a transformative, almost transcendent experience. In their world, sex is not about power or escape. It's about home. It's about coming closer, not just in body, but in spirit. Friendship, loyal to the end. Friendship for a Libra dog isn't a casual pastime. It's a deep, sacred connection rooted in care, consistency, and emotional presence. When they call someone a friend, they mean it. This is the kind of person who takes friendship as seriously as others take romantic relationships. They'll remember your favorite tea, check in after your dentist appointment, and text you during a thunderstorm because they know you hate them. Their empathy is active, not passive. They don't just listen, they notice. And they follow through. If you're in their circle, they will carry pieces of your life as if they were their own. They are the quiet presence that keeps showing up, in crisis, in celebration, and in the mundane middle ground where most people fade out. What makes them truly unique is their incredible emotional sensitivity. Thanks to Libra's intuitive grace and the dog's protective heart, they are attuned to other people's moods without needing to be told. They can sense when you're off, even if you say you're fine. They don't rush you to open up, they wait with patience and compassion, letting you know it's safe to be vulnerable around them. And when you do, they hold space without judgment. They don't try to fix you. They don't turn your sadness into their story. They simply show up, wholeheartedly and without an agenda. Their support feels like a warm blanket, soft, steady, and always there when you need it most. They tend to keep a relatively small but deeply trusted circle of friends. It's not because they're cold or socially shy, it's because they value depth over volume. Shallow friendships drain them. They need the kind of bond where silence isn't awkward, where a conversation can start with jokes and end in soul-searching. They want to know what keeps you up at night, not just what you're binge-watching. They look for people who are emotionally intelligent, authentic, and open. And once they find those people, they commit. Not in words, but in action. Helping you move apartments, picking you up from the airport at 2 a.m., sitting on the phone with you while you cry about something you don't even understand. They are the friend who gives more than they take, sometimes to a fault. They'll rearrange their schedule for you, drive hours just to see you, and stay up all night talking if you need them. But here's the quiet truth: they expect you to do the same. Not because they keep score, but because they believe real friendship is mutual. The dog in them is loyal to the bone, but if that loyalty is betrayed, if they catch dishonesty, manipulation, or repeated disregard, they'll quietly sever the connection. They won't yell, they won't text paragraphs, they'll just vanish, slowly or suddenly, like a light switching off. And once that light is out, it rarely flickers back on. The most extraordinary part of their friendship is their emotional steadiness. In a world where many friendships come with conditions, moods, or performances, the Libra dog offers something rare: emotional consistency. You never have to guess where you stand with them. They won't ice you out one day and love bomb you the next. Their affection is steady, measured, and grounded in trust. You can call them after months apart and still feel like nothing has changed. They're the kind of friend who roots for your success as if it were their own, who claps loudly for your wins and holds you gently through your losses, never making it about them. At their core, Libra dogs are the emotional backbone of their chosen tribe. They are the glue that holds friend groups together, the secret keepers, the quiet protectors. They don't need to be the loudest or the most popular, but they will be the most remembered. Decades may pass, lives may change, but the impact of their friendship lingers. Because when they love you, truly love you, it's for keeps. Not out of habit or obligation, but because that's just who they are. Loyal, present, unshakable. Business, the diplomatic strategist. In the world of business, the Libra dog doesn't crash in with noise and bravado. They glide in with quiet confidence, subtle charm, and an internal compass that points unshakably toward fairness. They are the kind of professionals who make everyone else in the room breathe easier, not because they're loud or dominant, but because their calm presence instantly creates trust. Whether they're leading a team or contributing behind the scenes, their approach is always guided by ethics, empathy, and excellence. They naturally embody the kind of diplomacy others try to fake: a true ability to listen, mediate, and make sure every voice at the table is heard. When tough conversations arise, they don't shy away, they simply handle them with grace. Their ideal work environment is one that values collaboration over competition, harmony over chaos, and purpose over profit. While they can function in fast-paced industries, they'll burn out quickly in cutthroat or ego-driven environments. They thrive in spaces where their integrity is an asset, not a liability. Give them a clear mission, respectful colleagues, and the autonomy to make thoughtful decisions, and they'll give you their absolute best, consistently. They're not ladder climbers in the traditional sense, they're more like ladder builders. They help others rise as they go, often mentoring, supporting, and encouraging teammates in ways that foster long-term loyalty and respect. Libra dogs shine in professions where their natural strengths, strategy, empathy, design thinking, and moral clarity, can be fully expressed. In law, they combine an intuitive sense of justice with the ability to craft logical, compelling arguments. In psychology, they bring deep insight and warmth to emotionally charged situations. In design, they balance beauty with function, creating spaces or products that feel effortlessly harmonious. In diplomacy, their ability to navigate conflict without escalating it makes them irreplaceable. And in education, they are the kind of leaders who don't just teach, they inspire, support, and elevate. Wherever they are, they bring thoughtfulness, professionalism, and a refusal to cut corners. One of their greatest strengths is their decision-making process, and paradoxically, one of their greatest weaknesses, too. They are not impulsive, they don't shoot from the hip. Instead, they analyze, reflect, weigh every consequence, and even pause to consider how their decisions will emotionally impact others. This makes them incredibly responsible and often brilliant at forecasting problems before they arise. But it can also slow them down. Indecision plagues them when the stakes are high, especially when multiple parties are involved. The dog's inherent fear of betrayal and Libra's fear of imbalance can turn even simple choices into days of second-guessing. They'll look at the coin from all sides, flip it, and then flip it again. Still, when they find internal clarity, when they finally trust their own instincts as much as they trust logic and feedback, they become unstoppable. Their natural diplomacy evolves into leadership. Their cautious nature becomes strategy. Their empathy becomes influence. In these moments, they don't just participate in business, they redefine how it's done. They lead without dominating. They make others feel seen without sacrificing their own vision. And because they do everything with such grounded ethics and tact, they attract allies, not just followers. Their impact ripples outward, creating teams and organizations that reflect their values. Above all, what sets the Libra dog apart in business is their commitment to doing the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing. They don't believe in shortcuts, manipulation, or ruthless ambition. They believe in the long game, in building something that lasts, something they can be proud of, something that improves not just their life but the lives of those around them. They may never be the flashiest person in the room, but they'll be the one everyone turns to when things get hard. When values are tested, when leadership is needed, because deep down, everyone trusts the one who stands for more than just success, the one who stands for something real. The dark side, people-pleasing, paranoia, and perfectionism. Every light casts a shadow, and for the Libra dog, that shadow is subtle, sophisticated, and often well hidden, even from themselves. On the outside, they appear graceful, thoughtful, even keeled. But beneath the smooth exterior lives a quiet storm of insecurity, inner pressure, and an exhausting need to get everything just right. This is not a person who explodes outwardly, they implode. They twist themselves into shapes that make others comfortable while their own needs are folded away, out of sight. And when they do finally break, it's quiet, cold, and often invisible to those around them, like a glacier cracking beneath the surface. People-pleasing is one of their deepest, most difficult patterns. Born from Libra's desire for harmony and the dog's instinct to serve and protect, they often put others' emotions above their own. They'll cancel their plans to help a friend move, say yes when they mean no, laugh at jokes that hurt just to avoid tension. It's not manipulation, it's fear. Fear of being rejected, misunderstood, or the cause of conflict. Over time, this self-suppression wears them down. They begin to feel invisible in their own lives. And the worst part? No one notices, because they've gotten so good at hiding it. But inside, resentment simmers. Their needs don't disappear, they just quietly turn into walls between them and the people they're trying to please. Loyalty is beautiful, until it's used against you. The dog's devotion, when misdirected, becomes a trap. Libra dogs have a heartbreaking tendency to stay too long in one-sided or even toxic relationships because they confuse endurance with love. They believe in giving second chances, and third, and fourth. They tell themselves that loyalty means staying, even when everything in their body is screaming to go. And when the inevitable fallout happens, when betrayal rears its head or emotional neglect becomes undeniable, they don't just feel hurt. They feel responsible. They pick apart every detail of what they said, what they missed, what they should have seen. Instead of blaming the situation, they blame themselves, harshly, and often privately. Perfectionism is another layer of their dark side, not the obvious kind driven by ego or status, but the quiet, internal type that whispers, "You're only lovable if you get everything right." They hold themselves to impossible standards, in relationships, in their appearance, in their career, even in the way they express emotions. They believe that if they can just stay balanced, kind, competent, and accommodating enough, everything will stay peaceful. But life isn't tidy, love isn't perfect, and when reality gets messy, when things fall apart, get loud, or go off script, they spiral into self-doubt. Did I cause this? Did I misread something? Am I too much, or not enough? Their inner critic is sharp, articulate, and merciless. Trust is their most fragile currency. Once it's broken, even just once, paranoia can take hold. Not the explosive, possessive kind, but the slow-burning fear that the rug will always be pulled out from under them. They start reading between the lines of every message, second-guessing compliments, analyzing silences. They become quietly suspicious, not because they want to be, but because their emotional world depends on stability, and when that's threatened, their entire nervous system goes on high alert. They don't lash out, they retreat, internalize, assume. A late text reply becomes a sign of fading interest. A missed detail feels like proof they don't matter. It's not jealousy, it's self-protection disguised as detachment. But beneath every shadow is an invitation to grow. The real challenge, and gift, for the Libra dog lies in learning to trust themselves. To listen to their own intuition before seeking approval. To speak their needs before burying them. To walk away from what wounds them without carrying guilt like a second skin. They don't need to be perfect to be worthy. They don't need to earn peace through sacrifice. Their deepest healing comes when they realize that harmony doesn't mean erasing themselves, it means including themselves fully, fearlessly, first. And when they begin to trust themselves, to act from truth instead of fear, the very traits that once harmed them become their greatest strengths. Their empathy becomes wisdom, their loyalty becomes discernment, their perfectionism becomes clarity, and their fear of abandonment transforms into a quiet, powerful self-assurance that says, "I am whole, even alone." Life goals, balance, purpose, and a legacy of kindness. For the Libra dog, life goals aren't about loud achievements or front-page headlines. They are quiet visionaries, shaping their lives with subtlety and soul rather than ego and ambition. They aren't interested in climbing ladders just to be seen, they want to climb with intention, with meaning, with people they respect beside them. At their core, they're seekers of equilibrium, not just the superficial balance tossed around in wellness magazines, but a profound internal alignment between what they do, what they believe, and who they are. They want to wake up in the morning and feel peace in their chest, not because everything is perfect, but because everything is true. Their definition of success is deeply personal. It doesn't lie in financial milestones or material possessions, but in emotional resonance. They want work that aligns with their inner compass, careers that don't just pay bills, but make a difference. Whether it's in social justice, education, design, healing professions, or creative expression, the Libra dog needs to feel like what they do matters. They crave substance. They want their days to reflect their values, their hearts, their desire to leave the world softer, fairer, more beautiful than they found it. They don't chase titles, they chase truth, and purpose that feels like home. In love, their goals are clear and steady. They dream of a relationship built not on spark alone, but on mutual admiration, intellectual companionship, and shared growth. They want a partner who's emotionally available, deeply kind, and willing to navigate the complexity of life hand in hand. Their ultimate goal in romance isn't intensity, it's intimacy. Not drama, but deep peace. They're not waiting for someone to complete them, they're hoping to build something solid with someone who complements their essence. A relationship filled with belly laughs, thoughtful silence, morning rituals, and the kind of trust that doesn't require constant explanation. Their home life reflects their internal ideals. They want their space to be a haven, not in the material sense, but in the emotional one. The Libra side craves beauty, balance, and order. The dog craves warmth, familiarity, and emotional grounding. Together, this means their dream home is less about square footage and more about energy. A kitchen that smells like comfort. A living room that invites connection. A garden, a nook, a corner where they can just be. Their goal is to build a space where every guest feels at ease and every object has intention. A home that mirrors their desire for harmony, inside and out. Beyond their personal sphere, Libra dogs are deeply motivated by a desire to contribute. They rarely chase recognition, but they almost always find themselves quietly at the center of their communities. The friend who organizes a meal train for someone in crisis, the coworker who steps in when others won't, the neighbor who notices and cares. Their goal is never applause. It's impact. They want to know they made someone's day easier, someone's burden lighter. Service is not something they do for status, it's who they are. They give without expecting return, and in doing so, they become the kind of people others remember long after the noise fades. Ultimately, their biggest dream isn't flashy. It's deeply human. They want a life they don't have to escape from. A rhythm of living where nothing important, not their values, their health, their relationships, or their joy, is sacrificed on the altar of more. They want mornings with meaning, work that feels honest, conversations that aren't performative, and moments that breathe. They want to age with grace, to build a legacy not of accolades but of kindness. Of being the one who listened, who stayed, who made others feel safe. Their goal is not just to be remembered, it's to be remembered fondly. With love, with respect, with warmth. Because for the Libra dog, the ultimate life goal isn't just balance, it's becoming the kind of person who creates it wherever they go. Final thoughts. The Libra born in the year of the dog is not loud, but they are unmistakably powerful. Not because they demand attention, but because they earn it, slowly and sincerely. They're the person in the room who makes you feel calm without saying a word, who diffuses tension with a glance, who listens better than anyone else ever has. They carry a quiet force, emotional intelligence that doesn't shout, grace that doesn't boast, and loyalty that runs deeper than words can capture. In a world constantly teetering between extremes, they offer something rare. Balance not as a performance, but as a principle. They are the steady bridge between intellect and emotion, between softness and strength. They are the rare souls who still believe in doing the right thing, even when no one's watching. While others may seek dominance or recognition, the Libra dog seeks something more enduring, peace, truth, and real human connection. They are the healers in a world addicted to chaos. The ones who hold space for hard conversations, who believe in second chances, who give without keeping score. Their instinct isn't to climb over others to rise, it's to lift others as they go. Their strength lies in their subtlety, in their moral compass, and in the way they can make a person feel deeply seen, even in passing. But if you think their gentleness makes them easy to manipulate, you'll quickly discover the iron beneath the velvet. These individuals are not pushovers, they're protectors. Yes, they are kind, but they are also discerning. Loyal, but not naive. They don't yell, they walk away. They don't explode, they evolve. And once they recognize someone as taking more than they give, they will quietly, powerfully reclaim their time, their peace, and their heart. That's the dog within them, principled, fierce, and unafraid to stand alone if necessary. Their love is not free. It's earned, and once lost, it's rarely offered twice. If you have a Libra dog in your life, honor them. Notice the little ways they care. The texts they send to check in. The thoughtful pauses in conversation when they're really listening. The way they remember your fears, your quirks, your wins. They may not demand your attention, but they deserve it, in friendship, in love, in gratitude. These are the people who will be there when others vanish, who will forgive when others condemn, and who will believe in your better self even when you don't. Don't take that for granted. Their loyalty is a gift, and like all rare gifts, it comes with the responsibility to value it properly. And if you are the Libra dog, if these words feel like a mirror, let this be your reminder: your kindness is not weakness. Your desire for harmony does not make you passive. Your sensitivity is not a liability, it's your power. Own your voice, trust your boundaries, speak even when it's uncomfortable. Take up space, even when it feels unnatural. You were born to build bridges, yes, but you were also born to protect your side of them. Stop apologizing for your standards. Stop hiding your fire to make others comfortable. You don't have to choose between being good and being strong. You are both. Because in the end, you were not just born for balance. You were born to restore it, in your own life, and in the lives of everyone lucky enough to cross your path. And that, more than anything, is your legacy. Not perfection, not performance, but presence. The kind of presence that brings light into the room without ever needing to raise its voice.